Anyway, he was my first interview back in 2011 when I was an intern for 3news.co.nz, and he joked about being an undercover Green, but since then he's become a Green MP, then he was co-leader, then he was minister across 2 government terms, but now James Shaw has called time, announcing his resignation from Parliament, and he joins us now. Thanks for your time, James. Do you remember that interview 12 years ago?
Look, I do remember the quote about being an undercover Green, Lloyd, but I didn't realise that you're as old as that.
Thank you very much. We've both come a long way. Now, what was the thing that made you call time on being co-leader?
Well, 9 years is a long time to be in this role, and I've been in Parliament nearly 10 years now. I've done the job that I felt that I came to do, which was to take the Greens into government and then out the other side. I've been Climate Change Minister for 6 years, which was the absolute privilege of my lifetime. And so it really does feel like, you know, it's the end of an era for me and the beginning of a new era for the Greens, and so it's appropriate for a new co-leader to be standing alongside Marama for that new era.
Was there a specific catalyst, though? Was there the straw that broke the camel's back?
Only in the sense that we lost the election. You know, I worked very hard during the election campaign to try and win a 3rd term in government, and I would have considered a real privilege to have been able to do that. But you know, it kind of went the other way, and so I said, okay, well, that then is time for me. I did stay on for a few months after the election. We've got a big new caucus. Nearly 2 out of every 3 of our members of Parliament are first termers, and so you know, we're kind of reconstituting ourselves, and I wanted to kind of shepherd us through that stage. But then, you know, that to me was a sort of a sense of, okay, well, job well done, time to move on.
Reconstituting yourself, has the party lost its way? Are you no longer just a Green party, or kind of an everything party? And does that mean that you're going to depart, leaving the party in a bit of an existential crisis?
Well, look, I think the answer to that is, look how many votes we got at the last election. We got more Green MPs into Parliament than we have ever had before. We won 3 electorate seats, which is 2 more than we've had at any time in our history. We've got a fabulously diverse, broad and, you know, depth of talent in our new caucus. And so, no, I actually think my assessment, my honest assessment, is that the Greens now are clearer about what we stand for than most of the time that I've been involved, and I think people are responding to that.
Who's the heir apparent?
Well, Lloyd, you know, I think every interview I've given since I broke the news yesterday has included that question. I'm not going to get drawn on it, I'm sorry.
But is there one? I mean, you don't have to say who it is, but well, is there one? Do you think there is one?
Oh, yeah, look, yes, absolutely. You know, no, I think that should be obvious to pretty much anybody, but, you know, I'm not going to get drawn on who that is. You know, it is really important that they are able to say that they are standing, that they're able to kind of put their best foot forward, and it really is up to the membership of the Green Party to decide who they want. And so ultimately that is one of the strengths of our approach.
It used to have to be a female and a male, but now it just has to be a female and someone who is Māori. Would it be weird if the Greens had 2 female co-leaders? Do you think it should be a man and a woman?
No, I don't see why. You know, not too long ago in this country's history, you know, it wasn't unusual for parties to be, you know, have a male leader and a male deputy as well. And so, you know, things are shifting, and we're more embracing of gender diversity and of other ethnicities and so on than we have been in politics in previous decades. So, you know, anything could happen.
What next for you now? Have you got your next job lined up? Are you going to go and create, you know, your own teal party like so many people have probably been lobbying you to do over the years?
Well, you know, I've just spent the better part of 10 years leading one political party. I don't think I'm quite crazy enough to spend the next 10 years doing it again. No, I'm definitely leaving politics, and I don't have a kind of a specific role lined up yet. But whatever it is, my intention is to scale up the difference that I'm able to make when it comes to both the biodiversity and nature crisis that we find ourselves in and the climate crisis. So I will continue to be fighting that fight, just from outside the halls of Parliament rather than from inside.
And will you stay in New Zealand, or are you going to head overseas?
That's undecided. I'd be interested in having an adventure overseas again for a wee while, but no, my long-term home is here in Aotearoa.
Now, when you were a schoolboy, you were outraged at the bombing of the Rainbow Warrior, just like the rest of the country, and it's one of the things that kind of inspired you to get into politics. But the French government has never apologised for that. Do you think they should?
Yes, absolutely. I think their behaviour in the years following that incident was appalling.
Yeah, no, I agree. What's your biggest regret? You must have some regrets.
Well, I've got a list, but I don't kind of have a ranking, if you like. I mean, you know what it's like here, Lloyd. There's always work that's undone or incomplete, things that don't work out the way that you hope. I don't tend to dwell on those things. I'm very proud of the work that we did. And I think it should be obvious to everybody that we are really only at the start of this journey of decarbonising our economy, cutting the pollution we put into the atmosphere, restoring our wildernesses. We've got a long way to go, and there's a lot of work, and there's a lot of room for people who want to step up into leadership to take that work on. I
guess, some of the regrets, maybe the botched 2018 census. Maybe when you were ousted as leader but then reinstated as leader, there was a time that you were punched in the face on the way to work. There was a $12 million shovel-ready school. Are those some of the things that you regret, or do you not dwell on those?
I actually don't dwell on them. I'll pick you up on the census one. I mean, that was a funny one because all of those decisions were made by the previous government, and by the time I came into that role, it was too late to do anything about it. But it was my responsibility to clean up the mess. And I'm actually quite proud of the work that I did with Stats in the months following the 2018 census to kind of get them ready for what came next. So that to me actually weirdly was a bit of a high point because it gave me the opportunity to do some quite tough work with that agency.
Awesome. Well, good on you. You've had a good innings, and thanks for coming on the show today. I do appreciate it.
James, just quickly, it's Melissa here. Hey, I don't know if it was your phone going off in the background, but I wouldn't be surprised that you're getting loads of messages since you made that announcement yesterday. Have you had any interesting messages or surprise messages from former prime ministers or people overseas, people you haven't heard from in a while?
Yes, I have. Look, it's one of those things when you call time, that kind of spurs people to get in touch. It's been, frankly, really nice, really lovely hearing from quite a range of people, both here in New Zealand and around the world over the course of the last 24 hours.
Any fun ones you can share with us?
No, I think those, I think we should kind of keep private correspondence private, but yeah.
Thank you so much for your time on AM over the years too, and hopefully we will see you again at some point in the future.